Hi, Brian. Given the way things unfolded yesterday, I'm wondering, is it your understanding that the actions of Mike Thomas on those two punt plays, is that grounds for an ejection? And if not, do you think it should be in the interest of player safety? And secondly, can you update us on how Jakeem is doing today?
Jakeem's, he's banged up like a lot of guys on our team are. It was a tough, hard-fought game yesterday. To answer your first question, look, I think we've kind of moved past it. We talked about it as a team today. We got to do a better job, keeping our composure, playing with poise, and not getting penalties. It's going to be a point of emphasis this week. And I'll leave it at that.
Omar?
Want to ask about Eric Flowers. There's reports out there that he suffered an Achilles injury. I don't know if they're accurate or not. Where is he in terms of the medical status and finishing out the season?
As you guys saw, he left the game yesterday, didn't return. Getting treatment this morning, getting evaluated. So we're still kind of working through that process. He's a tough guy. He wants to be out there, so I know he's going to do everything he can to get back out there as quickly as possible. As far as any reports that are out there, I'm not going to talk about anyone's medical situation, until we have all the information ourselves. So that's where Eric is.
Adam?
Sorry, I had to unmute myself there. Brian, you've won 8 out of 9 now, I believe, and most of those wins been double digits. You're playing at a high level. Do you think this team is ready for the challenge that the Kansas City Chiefs present?
Look, the Chiefs are a very good team. I think we all know that. They're the reigning Super Bowl champions. Great coach, great quarterback, great players defensively. They do a good job in the kicking game, a great job in the kicking game as well. So it'll be a great challenge for us. We've got a bunch of guys in our locker room who compete and are tough, and we just got to do a good job of preparing. Right now we're just making the corrections from yesterday's game. So we'll get into the preparation. Obviously later in the week or in these next few days. But look, it's a very good team. I think we all know that. And look, we just got to take this one day at a time and just try to prepare as best we can and try to play a good football game next week.
Cam?
Hey, good morning or good afternoon, Flo. I know you talked yesterday about Chan, going to the up-tempo offense in the second half or two, and he talked about how it confused the defense a bit. The obvious question would be, should we see more of that, and maybe what are the pros and cons of running more up-tempo offense?
I think it's week to week. Every week's it's really based on what we see from our next opponent. Look, we could turn on the tape and see someone else running, no huddle against Kansas City and, getting stoned every play, and then in which case we wouldn't do it. So, it's like, that's the case for up-tempo. That could be the case for something else, in the kicking game, offensively or defensively. So it's very early, I think all of the focus was on the Bengals. It's a one-game season. We'll turn our attention to Kansas City, and we'll see. We'll see if it's something that we think will, if we think it'll help us. We may implement it. But again, I don't think that's an every week thing. It's more something you can go to in the offense. But every team's got some form of 2-minute or up tempo. You got to have it if you get into a two minute situation.
Steve?
Ryan, with an elite opponent coming to town, what's your message to the team?
Same as every day. Let's prepare the correct way to make sure we're getting our rest and hydrating and, getting the right nutrition in our body and, trying to get ourselves to optimum level for next week. And that's a daily process. So let's have a good meeting today. Let's get into our, weekly routine, which is, everyone's is a little bit different. Mine's is different from yours, is different from the next player. So get into your routine, watch the film, study your opponent, and, we'll be in touch with the players about game plans and things of that nature later in the week. But really nothing changes, to be honest with you.
Josh.
Hey, Brian, how would you say Noah Igbongan responded with his opportunity to fill in for X? He got 20 plus snaps and it seemed for a good part of that second half, kept things pretty quiet on his side.
Yeah, I thought he played well. Noah's a guy who's been practicing very well. I've seen a lot of improvement with him in practice. I think he's made a lot of plays in the kicking game for us over the last few weeks. Those things don't go unnoticed. I think he's young. He just turned 21 years old last week. And I think he's getting better. Like I've said, developing players and watching them improve is something that we always have an eye on. And I've seen that through practice, and I got an opportunity yesterday and thought he played well.
Joe.
Hey, Flo, I wanted to ask you about Xavien Howard, not the ejection, just about his play throughout the season. Do you believe that he's one of the best players in the league?
Look, X is very, very talented. Yeah, he's one of the best corners I've been around, and he's improving, and he works at it on a daily basis. He's got a lot of confidence right now, and we have a lot of confidence in him, and hopefully that continues in the way he works, and how important the game is to him. I don't see why I wouldn't. Look, he's a key piece to this team.
Will.
Flo, you've done a good job of preaching the day-to-day, and it seems like these guys certainly listen to you, just take the next game, next day approach. But big picture, with 4 games left and this team being in the hunt, do you want them to embrace that, the fact that with 4 games left, you're right where you want to be as far as potential goals of making the postseason?
We try to take things one day at a time. I think that's the only way to approach it. We want to go. We're in a position where we get to play some meaningful games, and that's good. But in order to take advantage of them, you can't be thinking 3, 4, 5 weeks ahead. You gotta focus on today, focus on this week, focus on this team. We've got plenty to focus on with the Kansas City Chiefs, as you guys know. This is a very, very look. They're the reigning Super Bowl champs. They got great coaches. They got great players. They know how to win. They played a tight ball game yesterday, and you just see them, pull it out at the end last night. They play well in situations. They play well in the kicking game. So, again, getting ahead of things is not really in my nature. I don't really see how it helps us, all that much. We just need to focus on trying to get better today and trying to get ready for the Chiefs.
Safid.
Hey, Flo, I know you obviously don't want to go back to the Bengals situation, but you immediately try to take that and turn it into a teaching moment for your players. How do you think that is going to bring you guys even closer together? And, what have you learned about your team so far, this season?
Look, these guys, they enjoy playing with each other. They care about each other, and, they celebrate with one another, good times. They support one another in bad times. And I think that's important on a team. I think this is a resilient group. I think this is a hardworking group, and I think they know that as a team, this is let's call it a very supportive team, I would say. So I think that they play hard for one another.
You got time for one more? We'll go to Travis.
Hey, Coach, good afternoon. You started 10 rookies at different points this season, and that's the most in franchise history. I'm wondering if there is a certain intersection between the coaching staff that you assembled with that teaching mentality and development in mind, like you mentioned with Noah Igbongan, and also the knowledge that you had so many draft picks coming into this season. And how would you evaluate the development of all these first-year players on your roster?
I think we played a lot of young guys. I think they've all developed, at different paces. I think some are further along than others, but I think they're all getting better. They're all improving. They all work hard. It's important to each one of them. They've all had a little bit, different circumstances for a number of reasons, whether it's injury, whether it's, a couple guys have been inactive for, multiple games, and then they get called up. Some guys played early and then didn't play as much. And it's basically just being a rookie in the National Football League. And I think every experience they've had on the field has been a good one, whether they've played well or didn't play well, each one of those experiences are good for them. And there are opportunities for them to learn, grow. And if it went well, then they take that and say, hey, well, whatever my process was to get that result, let's stick with that and build on that. And whatever the process was, if it was a bad result, then they know they have to change that. And that's life in the National Football League. And honestly, that's life period. So those are kind of some of the lessons we try to give these guys as far as process, routine, and trying to accomplish something. So I know we've played a lot of rookies. Honestly, I wasn't sure on the exact number till you mentioned it. So if we've started 10, and that's a good thing. They've earned that opportunity. I think a lot of these guys are playing well. We're counting on them. I think somebody mentioned last week that this is around the time when their seasons are over. So they're really gonna have to push through this portion of the year, which is different. And there's a lot going on. I mean, they're tired, mentally, physically, emotionally, but they got to push through. And this is earn the right to play in some meaningful games. And they got to push through, and I'm confident they will. So, but yes, each one of them's developed and gotten better, I would say.